draft was made was never circulated to anyone.
फायनल ड्राफ्ट आमकां धाडूंक ना.
तुमकां सगळे लग्नाक लागून परमिशन घेवचें पडटलें. 1 ते 10 लाख परते फायन घालूंक शकता.
That bill has not come.
So it did not come to us.
Yeah.
The entire draft should be scrapped.
Cannot be which will damper all the industry.
The new tourism bill formulated by the tourism department has invited the criticism and ire of the entire tourism industry of Goa. Clauses like the levy of an additional 2% tourism development and sustainability fee, the absence of regulatory framework and permits made necessary for all indoor and outdoor events in Goa, and several other clauses have forced the industry stakeholders to stand up against the new bill. Here are some of the contents of the new bill that are worrying the industry. Some of the primary objections raised by tourism stakeholders against the new Tourism Promotion and Management Bill 2024. The Goa Tourism Policy 2020 clearly makes provisions for establishing the regulatory framework under Rule 11. However, there is no mention of the same regulatory framework in the new bill. The governance and institutional framework as envisaged in the policy does not find representation in the bill. Under Rule 7 and 8 of the policy, the roles of Department of Tourism and GTDC are specifically defined. However, the new bill has not considered these aspects of the matter. These powers and creation has to be done under the Act. Tourism Safety Force. It appears that the force is taking over powers of law enforcement agencies such as Home Department, Police, Courts, etc. Functions of the guards should be restricted to assist and guide the tourists only and to give proper touristic information. They can act only under the guidance of a senior officer who is not below the rank of a Deputy Director of Tourism Department. Permit for events. Applicability of this provision should be restricted only for the event happening in public places such as beaches, open grounds where adequate infrastructure is not available. Lawfully constructed premises such as hotels, resorts, clubs, halls, residences, etc. should be excluded from the purview of this provision. The levy of a tourism development and sustainability fee at the rate of 2% of the invoice value of tourism unit under section 73 is uncalled for. The tourism industry is highly taxed. The central government in imposing the GST tax has very clearly provided that all other taxes and cesses would be done away with and replaced by one tax. Carrying capacity. This clause should be applicable to tourism activities that are temporary in nature such as water sports activity, parasailing, etc. It should not be applicable to hotels, resorts, restaurants and halls as they have their own infrastructure and they have prior approvals from Town and Country Planning Department. In addition to the above objections, the tourism stakeholders have complained that the penalty for dishonoring notice by genuine businesses is up to Rs 10 lakhs. But ironically, touting, which is a very big problem in Goa, will attract only Rs 10,000 to 25,000 fines according to the new bill. The Goa Tourism Board members have complained that they were not consulted while formulating the bill. The stakeholders have unequivocally rejected the bill.
The Goa Tourism Promotion and Management Bill 2024 is going to be soon tabled and it is up for suggestions and objections right now. But ever since the bill was envisaged and some sections that were put like the 2% tax or cess, whatever you call it, for infrastructure development of tourism, there has been a lot of opposition to it by Goan traditional tourism businessmen. One of the tourism stakeholders, he has been there in tourism for so long. We have with us is Serafin Kota. We'll talk to him and try to understand what is going on in that tourism bill that it has faced an opposition. Goa Tourism Promotion and Management Bill is what the 2024 is what they are going to present in the assembly and they are going to make the changes. So could you tell me about this 2% tax or cess, what they call it, and what kind of impact it is going to have? Is what we have heard is it is going to really trouble the tourism stakeholders. So if you could dwell upon what this is actually.
It is going to be big trouble for the stakeholder for sure if it is implemented. I'm looking forward that government to take this back, not to come out with anything additional. At the moment, especially small and medium, where I'm representing the people, is they are under such a stress of 12% of GST. Now, just for a second, we'll keep a pause on this 2% which you have asked me. Now, earlier there was 7% GST slab for this to this amount. That was 2,000 to 4,000, something like that. Then 4 to 5, and 7 to 9, and 9 to onwards, different. So slabs were earlier 7, 12, 15, and 17. The 4 GST slab were there. So in that, people appealed to central government about 2-3 years back, and they have cut down 17%, brought them to 15, and 15 were brought to 12, and 12 were brought nowhere. So the small and medium who were paying 7, they has gone to 12, and those who were paying more, they have come to 12. 17 has come to 15, and small and mediums are fixed up with 12. Another thing with small and medium, till 999 there was no GST. Till 999. Today, even for 500 rupees a room is sold, there is a 12% GST. 12% GST on everything. I'm not blaming the state government, nor I'm trying to be diplomatic with you. It's a central thing which state government cannot, or nor tourism department or director or minister can do anything about it. Yes, GST. So when they cannot do anything there by saying this is a central government, the Goa government should not come out with anything like this when we are paying 12% GST.
That will burden more.
It will, then it will be 12 plus 2, 14. And for whom it will be 14? Those who are registered businessmen are there. There only it will come to 14.
Right.
So to unorganized sectors,
unorganized sector, unorganized people are not going to. They are going to go with.
You put any amount of 2% or 3%.
It's not basically. It's not helping the tourism
at all.
So also, I have seen you attending so many of the meetings. You are in the Goa Tourism Board. You are in one of the committees. Why didn't you object in the first place? You represent such a big medium and small hoteliers. Why didn't you represent that it's not right?
First and foremost, there is a board called Goa Tourism Board, which is GTB. I am not a executive member of Goa Tourism Board, which people believe. But I am, of course, I am on regulatory EC, empowered committee, where the bill should come there, draft bill. That bill has not come.
So it did not come to you.
Yeah, so I am not answerable because the bill has not come for discussion. But the positive side कितें आहा हितून एकूच positive side जी मिनिस्टरान दवरल्या ती बिल आपल्यानूच घडोवन हाडलेल्या GDPच्या कामकाराक दवरच्या अपेक्षा बिल काडून गोंयचे परजेच्या मुखार दवरला. आता हे गोंयचे हॉटेलियरांनी तेजेर आपली चर्चा करून आपले मत मांडचें. असेंब्लीत MLA मांडचे, हेजेर शिकून वयचे. ऑपोजिशनान खूब कमी MLA आहा. अर्दे MLA स्टडीज करना, तेमकां टुरिजम रेव्हेन्यूवाचेर खबर ना, तेंकां टुरिजम इलिगलिटीचेर खबर ना, काय आपल्या वोट बँकाक लागून इलिगलिटीचेर उलोवपाकूय सोदना. आणि हे कारणाक लागून गोंयचे टुरिजमाची सामकी धुरदय जाल्या. वी आर लेफ्ट विथ डोमेस्टीक टुरिस्ट, नो ऑप्शन. फॉरेन चार्टर देवता ही आमची परिस्थिती.
So actually आता when it will come for consideration, people you are saying the solution now lies before the people. ते जे stakeholders जे असतात आणि आता ते ओपोज करचे पडटले जाल्यारूच एका नाल्यार तो सगळो भार कस्टमराचेर आनी अल्टिमेटली तो हॉटेलाचेर पडपाचोच आसा. The bill that is going to be tabled now, it is open for public suggestions and objections. it is time for the people who are really affected to file their objections and make sure that the government knows that they are going to be troubled, because ultimately we have also covered in Herald how the tourism overall has been dwindling for past 2-3 years. It suddenly rose a little bit during after post COVID, but it is on an average going down in Goa. And considering tourism as the only mainstay of Goan economy now, the government needs to consider the voices of hoteliers who are going to be strained by more taxes that the government plans to put on them.
When the draft was made, was never circulated to anyone.
Final draft आमकां धाडूंक ना. We have requested for not to introduce it into the.
फायनल ड्राफ्ट झाला तेन्ना तुमकां एक कन्सिडर करूं नाशिल्लें.
ना.
Office bearers of the Small and Medium Hoteliers Association have highlighted the negative points that have been envisaged in the bill.
When Bab Santosh was in the process of studying the matter, and then he called it up with all of us, we looked into it and we were actually shocked, because as you go more in detail into the draft, it looks like a very abusive and very making it gives power to a certain department over all other departments. That is the first flaw that is there. And then they come up with this idea of a 2% fund, where Bab Santosh has already pointed out that every invoice of a tourism enterprise, they call them, basically if you are a hotel owner or a guest house owner or a restaurant owner, I mean tomorrow if you are a small cafe owner or for example even I believe Bosle and the Cafe Tatos also will come into this thing. So they are 2% of their invoice goes to this fund, which I think doesn't make sense for starters.
द मेजर त्यांचो पळय आतां हे आतां 2% जो आमचेर लागू लागतलो पळय, ईच एंड एवरी इनवॉयस बील, म्हणजे आमचे फाल्यां उठून आमचे धाकटी धाकटी बारां आसा गोंयान, जी धाकटी धाकटी बारां टावर्नां आहा पळय, तांकांय रेजिस्टर जावचे पडटले हेंचे कडेन टुरिजम डिपार्टमेंटा कडेन. तांकां कस्टमरांक बील दिवचो पडटलो. त्या बिलाचेर 2% टुरिजमाक येवन तेंच्यांनी फारीक करूंक जाय, ना जाल्यार 1 ते 10 लाख फायन आसा. म्हणून आमच्या बारीक लोकांक हेच जावचें ना न्हू. आनी बारीक इतले बारीक एक पळोवंक जाय की वेन यू आर रेजिस्टरींग हे खंयचे समाज आमच्याच लोकांक फी कितले म्हारग कितले जातली. तुमकां सगळ्या लग्नाक लागून परमिशन घेवचें पडटलें. तुवें केलें फाल्यां उठून त्या हॉलान केलें जाल्यार दे कॅन रेड यू आनी तुका परते प्लस 1 ते 10 लाख परते फायन घालूंक शकता गव्हर्मेंट. प्लस कॉमन मॅनाक आतां एका रेस्टॉरंटान जेवपाक गेलो जाल्यार ताका 2% म्हारग पडटलें आतां धरून. इट इज नॉट, यू कॅनॉट डिफरन्शिएट टुरिस्ट आनी यू कॅनॉट डिफरन्शिएट लोकल्स. पयलीं ते एक इम्पॉर्टंट एक विचार दवरपाक जाय.
It will be blanket सगळ्यांक बसून.
All of the locals are left out, and then there is a third party, that is a institution bought in, and they are formulating this so-called draft. I don't think they really know the crux of local stakeholders for one. And it is very, 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 very revenue-oriented driven act.
There is no traditional.
There is absolutely no traditional approach to this thing. I think first of all, the entire draft should be scrapped. If they are really serious about coming up with an act to protect the stakeholders as well as the tourists, then I think they should take and form a committee which has every stakeholder. Now I think around about 40-50 institutions are mentioned under this draft.
Right.
Have one person, one representative from each institution. It's not a large number.
The Travel and Tourism Association of Goa is a premier agency that has witnessed the growth of the tourism in the state. The association complained that no consultation was done while the bill was being formulated.
Our objection is to the overall that there are a lot of around 10 to 12 issues
which we have requested point-wise. We had a discussion with it that regarding the penalties which are the definition of tourist is also a vague definition. So even any person coming on business is defined as a tourist. Then of course penalties, there are 10 lakh penalties for offences, which is also been quite high. Then there is a definition of the tourism board itself. There are powers which are to be defined. Then of course it's there everywhere regarding the sustainable fee which they are charging, which is not viable with the GST and the panchayats, fire, your what you call pollution, everybody charging fees at each level. So because practically it will be, Goa already we say it's highly priced for various reasons. So adding that further, sustainability itself will be issue with all the industry. So I'm sure Goa government will look into positively and take a more consultation view and come out with the which is acceptable and which is, in a true sense act which will help overall growth of tourism in Goa.
ओके पूण थोडे म्हाका ते स्क्रॅपूय करपाक जाय म्हणटा बिल स्क्रॅपूय करपाक जाय अशें मागता बिल
Scrap करपाचें तशें न्हय. See what happens is this act is quite old act. So suggestions were there for quite some time to give them power to the act. Because if GTB is formed, now right now GTB does not have legislative power. So in that pretext we require this thing. But then there has to be a proper consultation, and overall there has to be the inputs which are more positive for the industry. It cannot be which will damper all the industry. So even events, they say even 25 people event you have to register. Now this type of things are, now this is drafted by NALSA, which is a Hyderabad-based company. So maybe they don't know the ground reality of the tourism in Goa, or whatever may the reason. So hopefully I think we'll try to, we have pressed upon our view.
So we've given a representation from the NRAI on behalf of the restaurants, covering some of the points that were discussed by the TTAG as well, with regards to the group meetings which have to be curbed, the 2% tax which has to be put. So we've given our representation. CM has given a positive response and said he'll look into the matter and take it further. So let's see what comes out of it.
In the entire formulation process of the bill, it has been noticed that the job of making the bill was entrusted to a non-Goan agency. The effect of this is a bill that was expected to be helpful for the Goan tourism business will in fact cause unexpected aberrations leading to degrowth. It is now clear that the Tourism Promotion and Management Bill has been formulated like a corporate policy with no regard for traditional tourism business. While the Chief Minister is assured to consider the opposition of stakeholders, all eyes are set on the reactions of Tourism Department and Tourism Minister on this matter. Keep watching Herald TV.
When the draft was made, it was never circulated to anyone.
फायनल ड्राफ्ट आमकां धाडूंक ना.
तुमकां सगळे लग्नाक लागून परमिशन घेवचें पडटलें. 1 ते 10 लाख पर ते फायन घालूंक शकता.
That bill has not come.
So it did not come to us.
Yeah.
The entire draft should be scrapped.
Cannot be which will damper all the industry.